up, it's Sammy. If you're wondering why I look like this, it's because I just filmed a Halloween makeup tutorial, which is the video that I uploaded before this one a couple days ago. So I will link that up here in the eye for you to go check out if you do so, please. It is a generic, this makeup goes with every costume tutorial. I figured everything's already been done, so I might as well do something useful for those who aren't that creative. Anyways, if you saw the title of this video, I'm going to be talking about my experience working at Spirit Halloween. It was actually the last real everyday normal brick and mortar job I have ever had. It was last year during Halloween, and I just got it because I thought it would be fun. I was already doing YouTube full time at that point, and I was like, you know what, I've always wanted to work at a Halloween store, let's do it. And boy, was I wrong. Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Okay, so I'm not gonna just sit here and like chat all over Spirit Halloween. It's not like a horrible store or anything. It's like, it's better than working, like I've worked at Little Caesars and I've worked at many pizza places. I've worked at Family Dollar. I've worked at LA Fitness. And this one is definitely not at the bottom of the list, but there was just a lot of stuff that was wrong with it. Okay, I'm gonna start with the things that I liked about it though. First of all, you could wear whatever you wanted, which I personally like because I don't have a style that's like conventional to like everyday people. Like my boss had like huge stretched ears and they were so cool. She was even wearing those like tentacle plugs that like go through your ears, so like those were cool. And like she had crazy colored hair, so you could literally wear whatever you wanted, which is the biggest plus side about the job. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, into the stuff that I did not like necessarily about Spirit Halloween. Oh, if you don't know what Spirit Halloween store is, it's basically a Halloween costume store that is a pop-up shop that opens up every single year in random abandoned buildings in America. I don't know if it's everywhere else. Ours was in an empty Dick's Sporting Goods store. So it used to be a Dick's Sporting Goods, which was a huge store, and now it was just a Halloween store. So the first thing you probably don't realize that you have to do when you work at Spirit Halloween is you have to unload all those costumes and basically put the entire store together. You have to put up all of the like displays and all of the decoration, and in our case the whole store wasn't used, so we had to put up these big like cardboard cloth covered things. They like basically cut off half of the building so that the customers couldn't in there because we couldn't fill up an entire Dick's Sporting Goods with Halloween costumes. And so like not only do you have to put that up, you have to take down the whole store too at the end of it. So you're basically building and deconstructing an entire store in 1 month. But the good thing is they do pay you double when you work the shifts where you're deconstructing and putting it up, except for I never got paid double, and I'll get into that in a second in the end of the video. You do not want to be on dressing room. I personally did not mind dressing room because it kept me secluded from most of the other people in the store because I don't really like talking to people, coworkers specifically. So it was fine for me, except for the fact that we are responsible for putting all of the Halloween costumes back in the bag. Which, I mean, it doesn't seem like that bad of a request, but every single person that comes up to you, they have to hand you their costumes, and people hand you like 8 costumes, and you have to take the costumes out of each bag, like the bag that they come in that tells you what they are, and you have to put them in like a basket that has the number of what changing room they're going into. And like they're not allowed to take any of the accessories with the costumes, like if it comes with like gloves or like boot covers or like a mask, they're not allowed to take that back into the changing room. So every single customer is like, oh wait, what, you forgot that part, and I have to be like, sorry, you're not allowed to take that, and they always are rude about it because they're like, how am I supposed to know if this costume even looks good? And I'm like, it's because we think you're gonna steal it, I'm sorry. And so we have a cubby hole with like numbers on it, and we put all the bags for the costumes in the cubby holes, but then the people come out and the costumes are just thrown in this big basket that we gave them, and they don't have to put them back, we do. And you have to know like what goes to what costume. So like for me, when like a guy tries on like different like Avengers costumes, I have no idea which goes in which bag. I have zero clue. So I have to sit there figuring it out while more people are coming and costumes just get messed up. And like you have to not only mend the dressing room, you have to put the costumes back in the bags, and then you have to find where they go, which is so difficult because it's not like ordered by like, oh, this is where the superhero costumes go, and oh, this is where the princess costume goes. It's like sex Etsy area, and then like primary color area, and then like kids area, and like it's not really like, and then there's like a trending area, so it's not really organized, so like it's just a big hellhole of costumes everywhere. It was honestly the worst. Not only that, but when you were mending the dressing room, you got to help people try on wigs, which was disgusting because people would just try them on and then shove them back in the bag. Well, actually they'd bring it to you, you'd take it out, they'd try it on, and then you'd have to shove it back in the bag. And this wig was touching multiple people's heads because we had like one wig that was like, of each wig that we had, that would be the one that people would try on. It was gross. Really gross, really disgusting, honestly. And the wigs never looked good, but you had to be like, oh yeah. That's not even the worst part. When you were working cashier, now Spirit Halloween does a lot of donating to charities, and this one they were donating to a hospital, like a children's cancer hospital in our town, which is just great. But if you want to be on cashier and not be on dressing room, which everyone does, you basically had to force people to donate their change or donate $1 to this charity, because if at the end of the week when they check and you don't have a lot of donations, you get kicked off register because people didn't want to give you their money. That's their money. You get kicked off register. I didn't get kicked off register. I got donations, but I think I mostly got it because I was mainly working at night when people were coming in like after work and school. But I'm sure the people who worked like in the mornings did not meet their quota for these donations and then were forced to do dressing room, or they were forced to walk the floor. Now, Halloween stores are very popular with children, and the kids run wild in there and they destroy it. And if you're walking the floor, you're supposed to keep everything like looking perfect. And like you cannot stop, if that makes any sense. It's kind of like working in a grocery store, how you're always supposed to just be walking around and like readjusting like the cereal boxes on the shelves so they're straight. Yeah, I tend to always have to be in the mask department because you stinking little children run around and try on masks and then just put them everywhere. And I would just have to walk around and just like put the masks back all day. All day, that's all I did for like 6 hours on end, is walk around, find masks, walk back, put them on the mask thing, which isn't that big of a deal, but when you counter in the fact that like the same 6 songs were playing on repeat in the store, and they weren't even like spooky Halloween songs, like that one song, that Stitches by Shawn Mendes was one of them, and then like A Pocket Full of Sunshine was one of them, and like an ad for Spirit Halloween, and then like the Scooby-Doo theme song, and it was horrible. It was like the worst mind-numbing music ever, and we weren't allowed to change it, or at least I wasn't. Like my manager probably could have, but I think she liked it. And then there is also the fact that there are displays everywhere with little mats on them that say like, step here to be spooked. All day, you would just hear, like, we had like this like Chucky display that would sing like this creepy little like lullaby tune like every 10 seconds, and it was so annoying. We had this like witch that would be like and it was like every 5 seconds. There was not a moment of silence. Oh, but if you, let's say you were thirsty and you were working at Spirit Halloween, you were not allowed to have any drink on the costume floor. You had to walk all the way through the whole costume into the back of the store that is off limits, and you basically got yelled at every single time you were back there because you're supposed to be on the floor. So it was really hard to get a drink. It was really hard to like relax for 5 seconds. Not really relax, it was just hard to like not be working. Which sounds bad when you're at work, but like even when I worked in like food, like there would be a second where you could just like stand there and like relax and like wait for the next customer to come in, and you know, you're just sitting there like waiting for like the freaking person to come in and order their pizza. But even when we were at the register, they were like, oh, if there's no customers, just start wandering and fixing up the store. So it was just like, it was a lot of like pressure put on us for being seasonal employees. Which brings me to the last thing, and the thing that made me not like Spirit Halloween and not trust them as much. 2 things. They make every single employee work on Halloween. Every single one. Whether it's like 9 a.m. or like whatever. You have to come in for at least like 30 minutes. They make every single employee work on Halloween. Which is like weird. I mean, none of us needed to be there because no one was coming in at like 8 o'clock on Halloween to buy a costume, but it's whatever. It wasn't even like they had a party for us either. It was just like, you have to come in because it's Halloween. And lastly, You get paid double if you worked the last 5 days the store was open, I believe. It might have been the last 4 days. And I worked one of those days. And they also said when you work these last couple days, it's going to be us closing down the store. So we won't be here for your last payday. So we'll mail you your last paycheck. And it's like, okay, cool, whatever. It's October of 2018. I worked there from September to October of 2017, and I have never gotten my last paycheck. It only would have been like $200 or so, so I'm not too upset about it, but it's not professional to not send out the paycheck of one of your employees, and it's not like I could just call Spirit Halloween because it didn't exist. It went back to being a empty Dick's Sporting Goods store. So basically this is a PSA. If you love Halloween, like I love Halloween, can you tell? I love Halloween. If you love Halloween, I personally would not recommend working at a Spirit Halloween because to me it ruined Halloween. Every single time I see a Spirit Halloween now, I get like, this might be like PTSD, like I start sweating, I feel sick to my stomach. I can't even look at a Spirit Halloween anymore from the experience I had working at this place. Like I would tweet when I was working like, someone give me an excuse to leave this hellhole because it was so bad. I can't even explain why it was so bad. It was just mentally too exhausting to be in that store for more than like an hour, and when you work there, you're there for like 8 hours. Okay, so if you love Halloween, I don't recommend it. If you're just someone who's about Halloween and wants a cheap little short 2.5 month long job, I'd recommend it if you're used to standing up for long periods of time. Yeah, because that's basically, you stand up the whole time. You're not allowed to have a chair, even at the dressing room. Although when our manager wasn't there, we totally stole a chair from the back and put it at the dressing room because we were like, we're sitting here for like 8 hours just like folding costumes. We're sitting down, okay? But yeah, that is it for this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any horror stories about working at a Halloween store, I'd love to hear them in the comments below, or just any horror stories for any of your minimum wage jobs. So yeah, if this is your first time seeing my videos, please remember to subscribe by clicking the subscribe button. If you actually like this video, please remember to like it by clicking the thumbs up. If you were subscribed already and you have not yet, click the bell below to turn on notifications so you're notified when I post. You can actually enjoy my content, join the party. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys! Bye!